What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Introverted Nerd Watches. I'm Reese, and I'm back for more Black Lightning. And in this episode, I watched season 2, episode 4, The Book of Consequences, chapter 4, Translucent Freak. Again, I really do have to look at like IMDb or something like that to see if they're going to do they're going to do this with the titles all season, right? God damn it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the title, but come the fuck on. It's so annoying. It's not even useful either. Like, these titles like really don't mean as much as like I thought they meant. Like, okay, like when I was thinking about it at first, I was like, okay, the title is too fucking long, but if there's something that adds to the enjoyment of the show, or they give you an extra clue or something about the show, then I'm willing to put up with it. But these titles don't really add anything. You know, what was I think it was the last episode, or maybe a couple episodes ago, was called Master Lowry. And you fire up that episode thinking that it's going to be, you know, the principal Lowry is going to make his presence really felt and known. And it turns out he was barely in the fucking episode. And then in this week, Translucent Freak is, you know, a comment made by, not even, it's an insult to Tobias from Henderson. And it's like, I mean, okay. I mean, the title Translucent Freak certainly catches your attention, but it doesn't really add to the enjoyment, or it doesn't add anything deeper to the episode. So the long ass title's kind of useless, and it just seems like pretentious bullshit right now. And yeah, so I'm not going to go too much deeper into the title, but I'm just saying it doesn't need to be this way. You could have just named the episode Translucent Freak, and we would have the same. Everything would be the same, except I wouldn't be complaining about it. So, not that anybody cares about my complaints, because if they cared about my complaints, these titles wouldn't have been so long in the first place, because I was complaining about the long titles from last season. So yeah, somebody call Salim Brock Akil, or whatever the frick their names are, and tell them that I said we need to do something about these titles. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about it for the rest of the season. I promise. I said that in the last episode, but I promise this time. I really super duper promise. Pinky swear. I have my pinky up and everything. Pinky swear, everybody. Before I get into this, to chapter 4, Translucent Freak, you need to do me a favor and subscribe to the podcast, because I don't know, just do it, because I said so. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Just hit that subscribe button. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star review, and, you know, recommend the podcast to your friends, your family. Thanksgiving is coming up. Listen to me around the dinner table. Everybody just enjoy me and love me. And that's it. That's all I have to say. So let's get into Translucent Freak right now. And overall, I think I like this episode. I'm not sure. You know, I didn't hate it. I like Tobias. Like, the Pierces are starting to annoy me, I think. And okay, you know, maybe it's just my personality, but the villains in this show are whose side I'm on right now. Aside from Jennifer, but even her, I'm like kind of like, girl, come on. But like Tobias, And Dr. Jace, the mad scientist doctor that's working with Lynn with the pod, the green light babies, like even like Tobias and Dr. Jace, I feel like I understand them. I feel like Tobias is the most on the ball character right now, as far as what he wants to do. So I think that I'm more on their side now. I've always said that I'm kind of a terrible person, so I tend to side with villains. So it could just be my personality. But the Pierces, like Anissa, I just find Anissa so, I'm just tired of her. Lynn and Jefferson, they don't bother me that much. I need something more from both of them. And Jennifer, who I really like, is starting to go down the road to Khalil, and I'm not happy about that because Khalil is a creepy stalker and he has like a bad wig on, but I do have to say though, his dreads look better this year than they did last season, and they look better than Michonne's wig from The Walking Dead. So that's like the standard. Like Michonne has a terrible wig. So anybody who has a dreadlock wig, it's the Michonne scale that they're judged on. His wig better than Michonne's. So I'm not going to complain about it a whole lot, but I don't really love his wig. And I don't like it when he has it all hanging down because it has like a Milli Vanilli vibe to me. I started calling him Khalil Vanilli. In my notes when he had his hair hanging down. It wasn't in this episode. I think it was the last episode, but I started calling him Khalil Vanilli. So yeah. So anyway, let's start with Jennifer because this episode starts with Jennifer. Jennifer is having another session with Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. Perenna is her name on this show, with her fine self. And her nice hair. I really like her hair. Yeah, Jennifer needs to go to whoever did Maxine Shaw's hair because I don't be liking Jennifer's hair. Let's talk about the hair for a second before I get into Jennifer. The hair situation on this show. Why don't they do Jennifer's hair nicely? Like her hair wasn't that bad in this episode, but they give her like they'll do something like they'll give her like cute braids in this show. Like in the last a few episodes ago, her friend like braided her hair. I thought it was really cute. But then the very next episode, they give her like really questionable wigs or extensions or something. Like I don't know which it is. It just doesn't look good to me. It looks really fake and cheap. So I don't know why they do that to her when they have like these really cute braids in her hair already. They did it last season too. They gave her really cute box braids in one episode, and then the next episode it was all like a bad wig. Don't do that to her, especially when Anissa has such nice hair. Like Anissa has natural hair and it's really nice, but they take their time with Anissa's hair. They don't seem to take their time with Jennifer's hair. And Vice Principal Thirsty has bad hair too. Like she gets really bad wigs. Like if Jennifer has bad wigs, Vice Principal Thirsty got her rejects. So yeah, that's how I feel about the hair situation. And Lynn always has a nice haircut. So yeah. Lynn and Anissa get the nice haircuts. Jennifer, once again, Jennifer and China Ann McClain get the short end of the stick on this show. Like, why did they do that to this girl? So Jennifer with Perenna having a session. She's in a reality where she's dreaming about going on to her prom or just some school dance. And I knew it was like a dream or something like that right off the bat because Issa was there and he was her date, which was kind of cute to me because I thought that they had like a little bit of chemistry when he showed up at her house. And it was nice to have somebody that looked like he was actually her age, who was like kind of on her level. And Issa seems like just like a nice kid, a nice guy. He's such a contrast to Khalil, or to the person that Khalil became, I should say, because Khalil started off as a nice guy, but Issa, who's had some bad shit happen to him, seems to have remained a pretty good person when he could have turned into a real like dick. So low bar, low standards, but you know, I guess you can't ask for a whole lot more on this show. So yeah, I knew it was a dream, and Khalil busts in and he, you know, he attacks everybody. Then he and Jennifer have like this sort of long ass fight. And she, you know, she fucks him up. She beats him up. She uses her powers in the dream, and then she gets sort of thrown out of it because whatever the emotion that was happening in there made her powers go out of control, and she sort of she goes on fire again. And Perenna is trying to teach her how to use her power and to, you know, take the power that she has and put it into a box. And she almost does it, but she can't quite do it. And once it's over, Perenna asks who Khalil is, because obviously Khalil is a real big part of the problems that Jennifer is having right now. And I'm thinking that because even in her dream, Khalil shows up and is an antagonist, I'm thinking that even if she doesn't know consciously, subconsciously, she must realize that Khalil is no good for her. Which, you know, good things. But by the end of the episode, she's talking to Khalil again. She calls him or she texts him or something like that. She gets in contact with him. And I'm like, oh no, Jennifer. Like, because I'm thinking like, don't do this, because you must know on some level that Khalil is not right for you, that something about him is not right. I mean, aside from the fact that he attacked the fucking school, he's like harassing her at this point. All through the episode, through the last few episodes, she's been getting messages from him saying, you know, are you just going to ignore me? Please, you know, call me. And it's like, it's creepy to me because it's like he's trying to wear her down, trying to break down her wall to, you know, get in good with her again. And I don't like it. It makes me really uncomfortable because guys do this in real life and I fucking hate it. Well, not just guys, but people do this in real life. They keep contacting you. They sort of ignore your nose. Jennifer has told him to, you know, leave her alone, stay away from her. And he keeps texting her to try to like wear her down, you know, to make her talk to him. Like she'll get so, and he turns out to be right because she does contact him, but I don't know. I don't like him. I'm done with Khalil. I need Tobias to like bitch slap him again and just kill him or something. So Jennifer's having a rough time in this episode. Anissa leaves, and Anissa leaves because she gets into an argument with Jeff, and so she moves out. And so Anissa, Jennifer, you know, talks to her and is telling her that she doesn't know how she's going to survive without Anissa there, because she doesn't think that she can talk to her parents, and she doesn't have anybody else to talk to because she can't really leave the house. So the only other person she can talk to is Perenna, which if Perenna is a therapist, it's probably best that Jennifer talks to Perenna because, you know, Perenna's the professional. Perenna's the professional that can actually help her. And, yeah, so that's not good, because if Jennifer doesn't have anybody else to talk to and she doesn't feel she can talk to her parents, there's going to be a shit ton of problems because she's going to be a teenager and teenager it up, and that's going to be annoying to me. And the other thing that happens to Jennifer in this episode is that Lynn and Jeff decide that Jennifer can't go back to school. Okay, they decide earlier in the episode that Jennifer can't go back to school. Lynn and Jeff have a talk about it, and there's bad things happening at Garfield High with the new principal. There, he has a no tolerance policy. There's a ton of shit going on there, and it's not the same school. And Jennifer is still having trouble controlling her powers. It's still unpredictable, so it's literally not safe for her or anybody else that's going to be around her, because obviously school can be stressful, and her powers are triggered or seem to be triggered by the emotions she's feeling at the time. So if that's the case, then everybody's in danger, because she sets her computer on fire again after she gets a message from Khalil. So yeah, but they talk to her when they talk to her, at the end of the episode, and they tell her that they want to homeschool her. They don't really explain it the right way. They because they tell her, we don't feel that you should go back to school. We don't think you can control your powers. And they say it like they're kind of like beating around the bush, like they're trying to soft pedal things for her. And I'm like, no, she is not a child. She's not a 10-year-old or something like that needs to be, coddled and things to be like, they don't need to be soft with her in this moment. They need to be honest with her. She's old enough to be able to handle the truth, and to have Jeff needed to come out and say, like, Jennifer, we don't want to do this. We don't want to homeschool you, but you need to get better at controlling your powers. And there's some shit going on at Garfield that I got to take care of before you come back to school. But instead, they sit there and they're like, she's upset, and they're like apologizing, like, we're so sorry, sweetie, and we don't know what to do. And it's like Jennifer, I get it, you're upset, but you can't control your powers. Like, that's the whole deal here. You can't control your powers. So yeah, I don't understand. And it's like, and if they would have said to her, hey, maybe we can work a little bit harder. Maybe we can, do a few more lessons teaching you how to control your powers so that you can go back to school. But the fact that she even thought that she could go back to school after she set her fucking computer on fire, it was just bizarre to me. And it seemed like a way to make Jennifer seem like this sort of over emotional teenager moment. But it didn't make any sense, because she knows that she can't control her powers. So I don't know why she thought she would be able to go back to school in the first place. Like, I feel like that scene was just like really, it didn't make much sense to me, because of what I just said. It just didn't make sense. Whatever. That was Jennifer ends the episode at school. Like I said, she got in contact with Khalil. And for some reason, they meet in the hallway of Garfield at night, and they just sit in the hallway. I don't get it. I don't get why they met there, and why they didn't just meet on the roof of her house like they do, like they have every other time. But whatever. That's where they met. So I don't know what that means for their relationship, because they don't really have a conversation. She's just sitting there when he shows up, and he sits down beside her. So yeah. Who are we going to go to next? Let's go to Lynn, because she doesn't have a ton to do in this episode. So she's with the crazy, I don't even want to call her she's with Dr. Jace. Dr. Jace is, I don't know how Lynn is running this whole thing with the green light babies. But she's obviously not keeping a close eye on Dr. Jace, because Dr. Jace is sort of roaming around this lab, doing her own thing. Another one of the pod, the green light babies dies because, and Dr. Jace is like observing it and she's taking notes and everything. And Lynn gets really upset that the green light kid died. And, Dr. Jace is calling the pod person a subject, and Lynn is like, no, he's a person, and she says his name and everything. And Dr. Jace is like, really, girl? Like, we're supposed to be like turned off and think that Dr. Jace is crazy. And well, she does, veer off into the crazy place. A lot of what she says is just her being a scientist. Her being a scientist that's sort of detached from the subjects. And she's kind of doing what you're supposed to do as a scientist. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I've taken enough science classes to know that you can't really get attached to people in the way that Lynn is in this experiment, because that's essentially what these people are. Lynn has already said that they're deteriorating, their brains, their bodies are deteriorating. So they're not going to survive much longer. And Dr. Jace is out here is taking notes, is observing the way she's kind of supposed to. And Lynn is not. So it's, Lynn is not being a scientist in this moment. She's being sort of she's like an emotional family member, and she can't be that in this moment. She's not related to any of these people. She has to be a doctor. She has to be a scientist in this. And we're supposed to see Lynn as the compassionate, the compassionate one that's wanting to save all these people. And Dr. Jace is like, no, I'm not getting attached to any of these people. These people are going to die. They're going to die. So why are we acting like they're not? And that's where I kind of agree with her. Why are we acting like all of these pod people are not going to die? So yeah, I kind of agree with Dr. Jace, but they have her with crazy eyes saying a lot of things that she's saying so that she's a bad guy. But I'm like, no, she's being a scientist in this moment. So yeah. Yeah. So, this is my villain thing, my villain problem. Dr. Jace is making sense and Lynn isn't. So this show has a intelligence problem. Because, we're supposed to think that Dr. Lynn is crazy. Dr. Jace is crazy, but she's being a scientist. And then you have Anissa over here saying E = MC squared. And it's supposed to be like, oh, Anissa is a genius. But she's not. And we don't see Anissa be very smart on very many occasions. So yeah, this show needs some help with, balancing the intelligence of their characters is what I would say. So yeah, or maybe that's just a me thing and I'm just a villain and I'm just actually a supervillain. I am a real life supervillain and I just side with all the bad people. Anyway, Lynn fucks up because if you remember from last season, she did tests on everybody in her family and your girl just didn't take any precautions and left all of that data and information about her family there in the system for anybody to find. And Dr. Jace found it. And she realizes that all of the subjects are related. She doesn't know anybody's name. Lynn lies and says that the ASA collected the data about these three new metas. She recognizes that one of the metas has taken the green light, but they're stable, and that the two other metas are related to this person, and that they may have inherited the meta gene. So Dr. Jace, and this is when Dr. Jace goes super like villain, mad scientist, and she's like, "What, wouldn't it be so great if we're able to poke, prod, and scrutinize the genetic makeup of these three related metas?" And it's like, yeah, we get it. She's crazy. And Lynn has like this scared look on her face, because it's like, yeah, Lynn, you should have destroyed that shit once you got finished testing your kids and your husband. Like, come on, Lynn, be better at this. Like, if you're going to, if you're going to do this shit, you got to be more discreet. Like, you can't leave this stuff around for anybody to find. And why does Dr. Jace have free reign of everything anyway? She's a fucking, like, you already know she's a fucking criminal. Like, why does she have free reign to do whatever she wants? It's almost like the tables have shifted and Dr. Jace has taken on like the leadership role, and Lynn is sort of following behind her and doesn't know how to take control anymore. And it's like, Lynn, come on, you're supposed to be the head of this. Put this bitch in her place, or have them take her away if you can't handle it. She was so like, it was so frustrating watching this, because I'm like, come on, Lynn. It was so annoying. Anyway, that was all Lynn was up to in this episode. Let's go to Jeff and Anissa. Jeff, Anissa, and Gamby, because they're all sort of tied together in this episode. So Gamby snitches on Anissa because that's what he told her he was going to do. And Jeff is pissed about Anissa's, Robin Hood routine, like everybody knew he would be. And when he finally talks to Anissa, they just both go off on each other. Jeff is like yelling at her, like, girl, what are you doing stealing? We have rules. You're not supposed to do this shit. And Anissa, acting badly, is like, I'm not going to let my people be taken advantage of. I make the rules. And I was just, why am I talking like, that's how she sounded to me though. She was just trying, like, she's not a very good actress. Her whole thing was not believable in this moment. So, and like Jeff, what's his name? Cress Williams. He's like really good, like yelling at her. And you really feel his emotion, and she is just there, like making faces at him, and you're supposed to get that she's upset and she's being sort of petulant, and yeah. But he basically ends this by telling her, yo, if you do what I say, when you live in my house, you follow my rules. And Anissa is like, oh, really? And Anissa is a fucking adult, and it's like, come on, Jeff. She's a grown woman. She is a college graduate. She's supposedly in medical school. Like, you can't treat her like the way you treat your 16-year-old daughter. But then Anissa is like, okay, if that's how you feel, you can't control me with, a house. So I'll be out in the morning. This bitch goes to Gamby, like packs her bag and goes to stay with Gamby. And I'm like, Anissa, come on. So Anissa really didn't have anywhere to go. As far as we know, she doesn't have a fucking job. She's stealing money from, criminals. And so, Jeff was right. Jeff was basically right about it. Like, you don't have, like, you can't go anywhere. You go stay with Gamby. Come on, Anissa. I need her to be what? I don't even understand why she was living with Jeff anyway, like with her parents anyway. Because I thought last season she had her own apartment, but maybe that was just her old girlfriend, her first girlfriend that we saw. Maybe that was her apartment. And Anissa had to move back into her parents when she dumped that girl. So, or maybe she was never living with her in the first place. I mean, I I don't know. I just never understood why she was living with her parents. She's at least 22. If she graduated from college, and she's now in medical school, like, Anissa has all kinds of problems, because I feel like, even though they've never gone into this, I feel like Jeff and Lynn are basically funding her life. Like, I think they're paying for her to go to medical school. She was living with them. She doesn't really have another job. She was kind of teaching part-time at the school, but I don't know, like, what that was, but she's not doing it anymore. So, yes, Anissa is dependent on her parents. And then she moves out and she's dependent on Gamby now. So, and Gamby tells her she can stay as long as she wants, but she was acting like she really had like some money and somewhere to go. Turns out, no, she's just going to Gamby like she does for everything else. Because Gamby is the third parent, apparently. And what Jeff told Anissa is that she didn't help save anybody by stealing that money. She just made a whole bunch of like really high level criminals mad, because they're not just some street corner gangbangers like she's used to dealing with. These are actual criminals that will fuck her shit up. And Anissa, as usual, making bad decisions. It's not even a fucking day before she has to go back to Jeff and say, you were kind of right. Gamby found out that the people she stole the money from in the last episode are going to go blow up the clinic. So they have to go back and try to protect the place. So it's like, Jeff was right. He and Anissa hug it out in the next day, but yeah, Jeff was right. And Anissa, neither one of them end up apologizing to each other. Jeff, says like, I accept your apology, and Anissa's like, well, I didn't apologize, and it's like, but you kind of should have, because he is about to help you save your ass, because you really fuck shit up, and it's real bad because the guy that she stole the money from is like the long hair white guy, who I also like a lot. Another villain that I like. I think I just like guys with long hair. This is not something I thought a lot about, but I was thinking like, that guy has really nice hair and I like his long hair. So yeah. So that guy is like, yeah, I'm going to fuck this bitch up. She stole a lot of money from me. So yeah, we got to find her, and I got to do, he basically said he was going to spill blood all over Freeland trying to find her. So yeah, Anissa done fucked up. Like, stealing that money, real cute, but yeah, you put your people in more danger than it was probably worth, when you could have just borrowed the fucking money from Gamby. Because where does Gamby get all of his tech from? Like, Gamby has new tech in this episode, or maybe it's just something that I don't remember seeing. But my dude has like gloves that he puts on, and they're like, the gloves help him create a 3D model of buildings in the city. Like, this has to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tech he has in here. And I'm like, you didn't have to steal from anybody. Go to Gamby and get some money from him, because Gamby obviously has like an endless amount of money. Where does Gamby get his money from? That's what I want to know. That's the new like mystery I want to solve. Where the fuck does Gamby get all of this money for all of this tech? So while Jeff and Anissa are staking out the clinic to see, when they're going to attack, Jeff tells Anissa that since she needs her own place, that she can move into his father's old house. And I'm like, do you really want to move into the murder house? Do you, like, who wants to live in the house where one of their relatives were murdered? I mean, I certainly wouldn't. That's just creepy. Like, even though it happened 30 years ago before Anissa was even born, I just would be kind of like, maybe not. Maybe I'll just get an apartment. But since Anissa doesn't have a job, she obviously doesn't have any money, so she can't get an apartment on her own. And once again, her parents are funding her life because her dad is probably going to let her stay free of charge in the grandfather's house. And this is so annoying to me. Like, I'm finding ways to be annoyed with her, and I should just stop. Anyway, they see a girl, a woman has planted bombs, a woman that walks into the clinic. She looks pregnant and she walks back out and she's not. So Jeff and Anissa go inside to try to clear the clinic out and to get the bombs that she planted. And Gamby is like, you take care of that and I'll take care of this woman. And turns out Gamby was wrong. He could not handle those hands. That woman beat his ass like up and down the street. Gamby could not handle this woman. And I want to know, like, does she have some, like, she clearly has some sort of powers or something like that, because she was beating his ass. And I mean, not that Gamby is like Gamby is kind of an old man, but this woman seemed like she had some powers. Like, she just seemed like she wasn't really being hurt by the fight. She was like blocking a lot of that shit. Yeah. So I want to know but she doesn't seem like a green light person. She seemed like she was like a Tobias type that had whatever Tobias took. Like, she took that kind of shit. So yeah, Gamby was hurting at the end of this episode. It was so funny. And so Jeff and Anissa go in there and they find the bombs, and Anissa is so bad at clearing. Anissa was supposed to be in there, clearing out the like helping to get the people out like safely before the bombs went off, but Anissa was so bad at it that she was making people panic. Like, Anissa walks into the room and she acts like she's panicking. She's like, oh no, get out, everybody get out of here. And it's like, Anissa, you're supposed to be like crowd control, you're supposed to keep these people calm, but she's freaking out. And it's just so bad. And it's such a stark contrast to Jeff, because Jeff walks into a room and tells a dude, is like real calm, tells a dude like, yo, get out of here. And Jeff handles the bomb. Anissa handles the bomb too, but she is just like, she was so bad at it that she scared people too much that they didn't even leave the room. So she had to smother a bomb with her body because there were still people in the room. And it's like, Anissa needs to learn more. And I just feel like she thinks that she's like a really good superhero, like good enough to be outside, like taking rounds of applause and bows and everything. But it's like, no, you're not that good yet. Like, you're just a step above Jennifer, and Jennifer doesn't even know how to use her powers yet. So yeah, Anissa, she's so bad at her job. That's just, she's just so bad at it. So they handle the bombs and everything's like, okay. But obviously this is going to continue because that guy wants his fucking money back. And so let's end on the best one. Tobias. So Tobias was great in this episode. I would watch an entire Tobias Whale show. Like, I don't know what they would do in that show, but I would watch a Tobias show. So Tobias, I was right. I just want to say, from the last episode, I was right. I said that Tobias got arrested because he wanted to be arrested, because he wanted to clear his name. And that's exactly what he did in this episode. It was so funny. So he starts this episode, Henderson comes in to like interrogate Tobias, and Tobias is like, yo, I've been in this room for 2 days and I ain't changed to nothing. And he's looking at Henderson, and Henderson is like Tobias is real calm, and Henderson is getting more agitated the longer he speaks to him. So Henderson is the one and only person that asks Tobias why his ass is still young, even though it's been 30 years. And he tells Henderson a vegan lifestyle mixed with a little yoga does wonders. And he says, I keep saying black folks got to get off that fried chicken and watermelon Kool-Aid diet. It is so funny. Oh, fried chicken and watermelon Kool-Aid diet. I lost my shit when he said that. And he tells Henderson, I do my best to stay out of the sun. So Tobias is sitting here joking, and Henderson is getting more upset by the second, and he's asking Tobias about he's asking Tobias about all the shit that happened in the past few episodes. Marcella's being dead, the missing DNA evidence, all that. So the burnt cop gave the envelope he gave Tobias was the DNA evidence from Alvin Pierce's murder. So basically all the evidence and all the witnesses minus Jeff are gone. And Jeff can't be a witness because nobody would believe him. It's so great because Henderson just basically figures out like, damn, Tobias played the shit out of me. Like he's reduced to calling Tobias a translucent freak because he knows that Tobias played him. And they have a new district attorney, and she looks familiar. I forget, like, is her name Sally something? Like, she looks really familiar. She's a beautiful woman. Hey girl. She's really pretty. I don't know. She looks familiar though, and I don't know her name. I think her name is Sally something. But yeah, she's pretty. She's the new DA, and she tells Henderson like, yeah, Tobias about to get off. We ain't got no evidence. We got no witnesses. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of it. And by the end of the episode, Tobias is out of jail. And he's in front of he's followed by news cameras, and not one reporter asks him like, yo, how are you still the same age you were? How do you still look the same age you were 30 years ago? Like, nobody says anything about it. Like literally, Henderson is the only person to ask him why he still looks so young. I don't get why no reporters asked, but maybe they'll ask in the next episode. Who the fuck knows? Somebody better ask Tobias about it though. But anyway, the one thing we do find out is that Tobias doesn't just hate black people. Like, I used to think Tobias was like an Uncle Ruckus, that he was just like anti-black and shit. And while my nigga is anti-black, he's just an angry old man. He hates everybody because he gets the long hair white dude goes to him and asks him like, yo, can I have your permission to, fuck shit up in Freeland so that I can find out who stole my money? And Tobias gives him permission, but the dude asks like, yo, how are we going to get you out of here? How can I help you? And Tobias is like, you white folks stay out here trying to save black people. And he's like, he basically says, I don't need your fucking help. Now, tell me what you want before I smack that smile off your fucking face. And I was like, yes. Oh, thank you, Tobias. You hate everybody. I can appreciate a dude that hates everybody. Like, it makes his anti-blackness, it makes me able to enjoy his anti-blackness that much more now that I know he just hates everybody. Like, he's like, white people, I don't fucks with you that much. Black people, your chicken and watermelon diets, I don't fuck with you. So yeah. I guess, I'm grateful that Tobias hates everybody. So yeah. The one thing Tobias does say to that guy is that he wants facial recognition technology outside of the clinic, because nobody in Freeland recognizes who Black Lightning is. And he thinks that Black Lightning took everything away from him. You know, Tori, Joey, who was named Joey Chestnut, Joey something, and cyanide. He blames all of that on Black Lightning. So he's like, yeah, I need to find out who that nigga is, and I'm going to kill him. So yeah, Tobias is after Black Lightning. And Jeff gets told, Tobias gets out of jail. But before that, Jeff goes to the station. Henderson is still pissed at him. He tells Henderson that he was there and he witnessed Tobias kill his father. So they basically do a mock, the DA and Henderson do like a mock trial type thing where she questions Jeff. And it basically comes down to that Jeff lied to the police originally by saying that he didn't know, he wasn't there when his father died. So by coming forward now, it just seems like he's upset that the person that he thinks killed his father got off. So he's changing his story. And basically it's fucked up. It won't work. Gamby destroyed all of the evidence that would put Jeff there. So, you know, he has no recourse. And Gamby tells him, like, if you try to do anything to Tobias, you'll look like the bad guy now. It'll just look like you're attacking an innocent man. So Tobias really set himself up to be, when Tobias gets out of jail, he says that he wants to be a pillar of the community, and that he believes in the justice system now that he's been exonerated, and that he hopes the Pierce family gets the closure that they're looking for. So Tobias going back to his politician ways, and I want to see how he works this. I want to see what his ultimate plan is now that he can sort of move freely through the city. He doesn't have to hide out anymore. He can sort of just do what he wants. And he goes back to the club, and with Khalil by his side, you know, there are a chance of 100 from the crowd of the 100 gang. So Tobias is back, y'all. This should be interesting. I just want to know how he's going to work this, you know, what his plan is, because he says he wants to be like a warlord in Somalia or something like that. He wants to treat Freeland like it's Somalia. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means for him right now. So this should be mighty, mighty interesting. And so the last thing we'll talk about is VP Thirsty dies. She was back with Gamby. She has sepsis now. She was dying. And basically the only thing Gamby got from her is her cell phone, and that Tobias has the briefcase that, you know, they're looking for. The briefcase with hell in it. So yeah, no more VP Thirsty. She went out. That she couldn't handle Tobias, and not like Lala. When is that nigga coming back? That's what I want. You can have VP Thirsty. I mean, I was kind of done with, like, nobody else on this show was worried about her. She was the vice principal of that school, and not one person at that school has asked where she is, how she's doing. Like, nobody's worried about her. So I'm not either. VP Thirsty is gone. I'm fine with it. And obviously there's something on her cell phone that Gamby is going to find that will tell, like, I want to know what the fuck is in that briefcase. She called it hell. I'm still wondering, is it another drug? Is it like a more pure form of green light? Like, how much worse can green light be? We see what happens to people once they take green light. So how much worse can it be? Like, I don't get it. Yeah. So that is the end of the episode, you guys. I'm I don't even have any predictions for the next episode. I have no idea where they're going from here. Tobias is looking for Jeff. Jeff can't really look for Tobias right now. They need Tobias to do something in order to, they need Tobias to do something. I want to know what's going on with Khalil and Jennifer. I don't want this to be a thing, but I have a feeling it's going to be a thing. Lynn and Dr. Jace, like, what is Lynn going to do about Dr. Jace? Because, yeah, it's obvious Dr. Jace is going to be a problem. So how long is Lynn going to put up with this before she like pulls the plug on this? Because obviously all of those pod people are going to die. And I don't want to go through an episode, every episode where it's like, oh no, another one of the pod people died. So yeah. And I want Issa to come back. I saw him seeing him in this episode. I was like, oh, look at him. He has really good skin. I don't know who that actor is, but he has really nice skin. So yeah, I just want him to come back. I want Jennifer to get her shit together, and I want Issa to come back. Yeah. So that is it, you guys. What else? Oh, follow me on social media. I'm at NerdTravertPod on Twitter. Use the hashtag NerdyWatch. I'm on Instagram at The Introverted Nerd, and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Introverted Nerd. And if you have any feedback about this show or The Gifted or Saved by the Bell, send it to theintrovertednerd@gmail.com. And until the next episode, everybody, bye.